Dr. Anuruddha Padeniya. Very good evening to you, Doctor.
Very good evening.
Now then, tell us, there's all these the way we understand it, we've got Pfizer and Moderna in the US, and we've got AstraZeneca in, sounds like a rocket.
Yeah.
And then we've got two coming out of China. Which of these is Sri Lanka leaning towards?
I think we had a lengthy discussion with the WHO, and there are about more than 35 vaccines are in line under production. But out of that, as you very correctly pointed out, the vaccines listed, the 4 vaccines are being so far currently recommended to, it's come under the recommendation of the WHO. So the information we got from the WHO office is that now when you are going to develop a vaccine, there are 4 phases of experiment. We call the clinical trial phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Then you go for the manufacturing phase and then come to the phase 4 trials. So then only the vaccine will be very confident to kind of give it to the public.
But we don't have the luxury of that time now.
No, we have because now usually all these 4 phases takes about 18 to 24 months in a usual vaccine. But
right.
Because of this, it was kind of done in a fast manner. So what happened is when the clinical trial phase 1 was there, the phase 2 started in between.
Right.
Then it was overlapped. Then the phase 3 got overlapped, and then the manufacturing got overlapped, and now in the phase 4 trials. So the phase 4 trials, according to WHO, they have given 2 million vaccines worldwide to volunteers, and they are yet to see the results. So what are the results that they are going to expect? One is the antibody production. Now when it is a virus is introduced, or viral parts are introduced to the body, you have to wait. They have given 21-day results are yet to come to see what kind of antibody production is going to be. Now that is not only enough for us. Now what happens is even the antibodies production is only one line, and whether that will be long lasting for life is another issue, because that is another aspect that they have considered. The other aspect is now we have the dengue. Dengue, they have tried vaccine, so far failed. The reason being, now dengue we have D1, D2, D3, D4. So there are various subtypes. So if you get subtype 1, D1 for the first instance as a disease, and then if you get the D2 in the next time, it's a kind of antibody phenomenon which works. You call this antibody enhancing phenomenon will work, and you will get a worse clinical scenario and might have more complication than the first event because of this antibody enhancing phenomenon. So that is another thing what they are going to look at. So in this way, the manufacturing usually starts after phase 3 trials. Here of course there had been undertaking given by the governments and WHO that you go ahead with the vaccine, that we will, even if you are going to fail, we are going to cover your financial losses. So that is in that state. So from Sri Lanka point of view, we have to get ready to, if the vaccine is going to be successful and if there is a declaration of that nature, that we have to get the vaccine. Out of the vaccines, as you very correctly told, this Pfizer vaccine is being, now I don't know other vaccines specifically, are being handed over to Indian or franchise to Indian companies to do.
Yeah, so the AstraZeneca one.
Yeah, a few vaccines are being now with the mother company kind of patronage. The India is going to produce that. So we are looking forward to, and we are in the kind of a waiting list. There are the regional countries are in the waiting list, and there are certain rules going to apply. What amount of vaccine, what percentage will be given at the initial phase, and how are you going to prioritize the vaccination. And then there are certain, since it is in the phase 4 trials, there will be indemnity issues, where if you get any reactions and if you had a death after this vaccine, then somebody might sue the company.
Now the US FDA has given those 2 companies a blanket immunity for unintentional liabilities, which is extremely rare. I haven't been able to research the last time this happened. But so, I don't know, is that something that's on the minds of Sri Lankan people? Because Sri Lanka isn't as a litigious society as, say, in the United States. You literally have lawyers chasing after ambulances
Yeah.
over there.
Your point is correct, but the WHO is very particular. Since they also have given undertaking to the companies, they say there is a checklist. This is
Right.
where the criticism comes.
Right.
Yeah, behind the schedule of the checklist, that was the criticism. So one major thing is the indemnity coverage.
Right.
So what they say is every government should pass a legal clause that all the other vaccines, as it is happening for the other vaccines. Now, whether the litigation will be, how the litigation is going to be. So I agree that our society is not that litigious, but if a couple of people are going to litigate this company, they will be in trouble. So because of that, there are certain guidelines they have kind of instructed each government to be ready with the litigation.
And what do we know about China's vaccines and how they compare to those being developed in the West?
I think that information, there are various techniques they use.
Yeah.
So I think the people who explained to us were not kind of lab kind of experts or virologists to explain the minor details of it. So in general, what they are doing is they are going to accept certain vaccines which has come to some kind of a safety situation.
May I quote from a report from the BBC? The Chinese vaccine, which is being produced by a Beijing-based company, which is called CoronaVac, it works by using killed viral particles to expose the body's immune system to the virus without risking a serious disease response. By comparison, the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines being developed in the West are mRNA vaccines. This means part of the coronavirus genetic code is injected into the body, triggering the body to begin making viral proteins, but not the whole virus, which is enough to train the immune system to attack.
Wonderful technical point.
Yeah.
I am a neurologist, I am not a virologist.
Okay.
But anyway, the basic scientific knowledge I got in third year, fourth year, it's like this. Now, when you are going to get the immunity from a viral disease, either mRNA or DNA virus, you call them, when you get the real disease into your body, that is the best way to get the immunity, and that usually lifelong.
Yeah.
But there is a question with regard to the coronavirus, whether it is going to be lifelong. There are certain observations they have made with regard to the coronavirus. So whether it is the same type or the subtypes is not clear. The second thing is, when you are, the one way to stimulate the immune system to generate antibodies is to give dead virus. But whether the RNA virus can be dead is because they live in a living cell, so that's the story. So as they say, so they are trying to give some kind of a full virus-like situation to simulate your body that the fellow has come and for us to generate our immunity. The third line is there are certain particles will be introduced to the body to generate certain antibodies. When the virus, the real vaccine virus comes to the body, these particles are there on the virus and they will attack only these particles.
Right.
So because of that, the seroconversion or the immune generation has limits. So the best coverage comes with the natural disease. With the real virus coming into in a dead way will generate say about 98% or 95% or some closer to near normal immune generation, seroconversion. But when it is particles, definitely it will be. So depending on the situations, technologically now even when there is when a child gets reaction to vaccine, you might have seen we direct them to certain vaccines which are made out of these particles rather than giving the real immune generation. So the outcome or the efficacy also varies. So we have to wait and see, because every vaccine is under experiment at the moment. So to see which vaccine. Now the thing is, the results also we have to admit the fact that whether we are going to get rid of the signs and symptoms, or whether we are going to get rid of the complications, or whether we are going to eliminate the disease altogether, or whether we are going to have a lifelong immunity, or whether we are going to have a short-term immunity. So these questions,
so there are many questions
will be answered in time.
Right. Now then, usually your GMOA from where you have arrived today are very vociferous on all matters. Sometimes we sit there, scratch our heads and wonder why the GMOA is making this statement when it's far removed from your medicine, if you like. But in this context, in what you all are used to doing, shouting about everything and raising it in the public interest perhaps, how come, are you kind of satisfied with what the government is doing? Because from where I'm sitting, and I'm getting messages from the public out there, they're telling me, why are they building roads and why are they cutting through forests and why are they doing A, B, C, X, Y, Z, when what they should be doing is readying themselves in for the vaccine. If we have to bring the American ones, the Pfizer or the Moderna, we've got both of those need severe sort of temperatures, minus 17, minus whatever it is. And we don't apparently have the facilities for that. So why is the GMOA not making enough noise about this?
I think we have made noise and we were involved in the vaccine process also. I would like to highlight 3 points under this. Number one is the government should get ready, there are protocols ready to go ahead with the vaccine. So we have to be in the waiting list in otherwise. Why we are in the waiting list is for the simple reason the vaccine is under experiment at the moment. As I told you, clinical phase trial 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I know, Doctor, point taken. There are different vaccines.
Yeah.
The Chinese are going through, the base is a more traditional one where they can rely on sort of past track records and so on. And they point out that the ones in the West at the moment are, this is new tech. And we don't have a track record other than the limited trials are taken. So that's a technical thing. But my point is not that. The GMOA has shouted on everything and gone on and on, but not about this.
No, we have.
And this is the one item that the entire country will be behind you if you make the right kind of noises.
No, we have.
But we are not, because the government seems to be, you know, let me put it, from almost to the point of being nauseous. We are getting messages from the public about all sorts of things that are not going on. So I think it's time, to be perfectly honest, let's take the gloves off and deal with it fine. We have a new president, we have a new government, we had gilded prospects for everything. But now it looks like they've messed it all up. And the GMOA, that big voice, is suddenly subdued. Why?
No, it's not. Because the public who have the opinion that the vaccine is going to be effective, other people are making noise. The reason is still the vaccine is kind of in uncertainty. The discussions last week we had with the WHO, they are not confident to say that this vaccine is whether it's going to work or not. It's under experiment, it's the phase 4 trials. So once the phase 4 trial is properly done, only then we can see whether the vaccine is going to be helpful to us or whether on the other way, if there is like dengue virus, dengue vaccine, if they are going to have antibody enhancing phenomenon, they might have to withdraw the vaccine. So vaccine is under investigation at the moment, how effective it is going to be. So the mass scale immunization campaign going to happen in a country.
Are we ready for all that? Have we got?
We are getting ready.
Because it doesn't matter what vaccine it is. Let's come and discuss how ready we are after this break. Don't go away. After all, this is Newsline Live.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly. Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
And welcome back to Newsline Live. We are in conversation with Dr. Anuruddha Padeniya from the GMOA. Now then, Dr. Padeniya, what's the state of preparedness, readiness for Sri Lanka? Forget the fact that there's only about 4 or 5 vaccines. We're going to get 1 or 2. Who knows? Hopefully one. But what have we done now on the ground?
Number one, we have to get this indemnity done. So
Yeah.
it's the AG's department is currently doing that.
Indemnity against the companies.
Not the companies, it's the entire country to be covered by the government.
Right.
Because the government is going to give the vaccine. So
Right.
that has been already covered and that will go to cabinet, and on 11th the cabinet will approve and ratify.
So who's the purchaser? Is it the government, the state, or is
At
it
the
some
moment,
private
yeah,
company?
the president instructed to go ahead with the government at the
Right.
moment.
So that'll be the State Pharmaceutical Corporation?
Yes, State Pharmaceutical Corporation, Dr. Prasanna Gunasena was there and he's supposed to buy. The second thing is, how are we going to maintain the cold chain? Some of the vaccines can be kept on a kind of a refrigerator temperature,
Yeah.
and some of the vaccines will be in the minus temperature.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, we are ready with that because we have a vaccination program, so we are ready.
But
Number-
you need to make the storage. It's minus 70, which is not easy to achieve.
Correct, but we have the facilities because
Right.
we have a very fantastic immunization campaign, and very correctly I have to tell that that is precisely, it is for children.
Right.
So here will be for
For
adults
adults,
as
because
well.
these
Yeah.
vaccines are all for over 16-year-olds.
Yes, so therefore we have to, the cold chain maintenance is intact, and then who are going to vaccinate. So our MOHs are not only the MOH, and then our vaccination teams are getting ready to give the vaccine. So once it is deployed down to the level of grassroots level, and then most important point is, are we trying to, how can we get the vaccine? So all the countries in the region are in the waiting list, including.
But yeah. But my real point is not that. My point is,
Yeah.
what arrangements have we made on the ground level to, how is this going to be distributed? Where, who, in Colombo, where is it going to be? In Kandy, where is it going to be? Up in the
We have
more
a
rural
mechanism.
areas?
We have.
Is it the base hospitals? How is it going to work?
No, the vaccination schedule, we have 350 MOH divisions.
Right.
So we have island-wide system. Even during war, we have been delivering vaccines to a more than 95% coverage. Then whether it is to be given in the MOH divisions or hospitals, that is not a problem, because if you stand somewhere within your 3 kilometer range, there will be health institution in this country. So that network is fully fledged for that. As I told you, the difference here is apart from the children who are going to get the vaccination to date with the immunization schedule, here is the adults who are going to get.
Yes,
Then another point is
Dr. Padeniya, some of our viewers are sending me messages here pointing this out, that they're saying that Singapore, Bangladesh, India, Britain, United States, Maldives, near neighbor, Maldives, they've all got a plan.
Yeah.
And Sri Lanka, and they've got it. They're getting it, things being shipped in, all sorts of things like that. But where is tiny Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka, we've got the GMOA, like I say,
Correct.
big voice,
Correct.
big loudspeaker.
Yeah.
But suddenly, it seems to me that somebody's turned the volume down on the loudspeaker.
It's not. We
Are
are ready.
we too late?
No, because unlike other countries, we have a very efficient system. Now, suppose if you have a message to be.
But a system without the plan. Right now, we don't seem to be having a plan.
I think the vaccination plan is anyway there. Once the vaccine comes to this country, now suppose the JE vaccine, the hepatitis vaccine, all these vaccines are, even today, the vaccination campaign is being conducted. So only point
But
there is.
the problem is, Dr. Padeniya, that on these other matters like hepatitis and so on, and all these other things like even dengue, the point is that with this, there's a lot of people dying.
No, I agree.
From about 10 or 12 or 13 deaths, COVID related, we are now in big numbers. And this is not a game of 2020 cricket.
No, I
This
get
is
your
life
point,
and
but
death.
the death rates, of course, have to be comparative. But what I am saying is, our system is ready. Unlike in other countries, we have a system where if a vaccine comes, leave aside the vaccine or whatever to be delivery, it's very efficient system is there. But there is a point I think what you are kept on repeating is, who is going to get the vaccine? Because we will not get the entire bulk in one go. So there we have to prioritize. I agree with you that the prioritization list is, the WHO very correctly pointed out that we have to sit down
You
and
know, because my viewers out there,
Yeah.
they're getting a little bit uneasy because people are dying. We have reports that the hospitals are full. We have reports that the official quarantine centers are so full that we are forcing people, saying, well, the only way you can come here, back home, is if you go into a hospital, into a hotel. 400 to 450,000 rupees needed for that bit, and which is really, it's absurd when you consider, let's say, a domestic worker from the Middle East coming back. They're earning about 50,000 or 60,000 rupees. So those are the questions that we want.
no, but you are under the impression that the vaccine is ready to give, still
No,
in the experiment level.
what I'm saying, doctor,
Yeah.
is that some of these countries are ready. All the states, 50 states in the United
No,
States
we
have
are
got trucks
also
going
the
in.
vaccine, how to transport the vaccine down to the grassroots level
Yeah.
is we are ready, and the immunization will be done by our MOH system, so we are ready for that. But who
So
are
is there a registration process saying these are the people, frontline workers, the military, the health workers,
Yeah.
the people with underlying diseases like diabetes, heart disease, this, that, and the
Correct.
other.
That's
And is there a way that you guys are saying, the GMO is saying, come and register yourself, this is a free service, phone us up, we'll put you on the list.
That's a fact. I agree with that, because as I very correctly told, the prioritization list has yet to be prepared. So there is a delay on that. But other than that, the vaccination program is ready. Only problem is vaccine is still under experiment at the level 4 level in all other countries. So you have to give good results, and then only they will do mass manufacturing, and that will be delivered to countries. That
Doctor,
stage has not yet come.
Right. Now I want, because we're getting kind of nearer the time for the prime time news from News First, I want to ask you this. You've been trained in Western medicine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You spend a lot of time, a lot of money, and all your experience is based on that. Why on earth did most of everyone, almost a lot of people, including the cabinet minister and so on, go after this blessed unscientific penny business? Come on. This is almost a joke for the people, and it's not a joke because hundreds of people are dying.
Yeah, I think
And we have an NMRA, who are
Correct.
supposed to be doing
Now,
this.
as you very correctly told, I was trained, my training is in the Western medical.
Yeah.
So our scientific approach is based on your organ system and that mechanism. Now, but the Ayurveda or the traditional medicine, the basis of their delivery is on a different basis. So there is a theory that you can't study another practice using Western medicine. So they will have to
Or the other way
use
around.
their way. So I think there is a research institute under Navinna Maharagama, this Ayurveda. So ideally they should do research and give. Now even China, the Chinese traditional medicine, which was coupled up with the Western medicine, there was the research done by they themselves.
Doctor, I want to be, on Newsline, we say it the way we see it. Is this an attempt on the part of the GMOA to kind of wash your hands now?
No, it's not at all, because now I can't talk about Ayurveda or
No.
traditional medicine.
Yeah.
So on their research,
Yeah.
that is their responsibility, and they have a mechanism to deliver. And even the ministries, there is a Ayurveda ministry, so they should. And
Yeah.
if there is a now with the science and technology ministry, they had studied through our mechanism of the benefits of Kottamalli and Venivalgata, which we did we highlighted.
With all due respect, Kottamalli, Vanivalgata, and all this business works if you are following a complete lifestyle that is based on and around the Ayurvedic way of
No,
life.
no, no. The scientific methodology was used by.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
how many times have we gone to any of these hospitals and we get treated? We don't. We are dependent, and let's face it, the Western medicine has come, let's be brutally frank, the Western medicine has come way ahead of the traditional medicines. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just stating the fact. And at the end of the day, the GMOA has made so much of noise about almost everything that we can care to think about. And really the question is, do you not understand the suffering and the uneasiness, the queasiness of the public in our country, yours and mine?
Yeah, but we have to understand the fact even China,
Yeah.
80% they use the traditional Chinese traditional medicine.
Yeah.
So, and corona, in front of corona, even the vaccine is under experiment at the moment. So, we are helpless to some extent other than our immunity. We only depend on our immunity. So, other than the immunity boosting systems. What I want to tell is this Kottamalli and Venivelgata studies done by the Science and Technology Ministry, the ITI Institute,
Yeah.
is basically done based on the scientific pathway of the Western medicine. Like say they have used the mouse paw, where you inject certain things and you see the cells and the immune generation using the Western scientific figures. So those matters we highlighted.
Indeed.
But the penny and other thing were not done in that manner. So therefore that had to be explained by them.
It looks like to a great number of our viewers, and we appreciate all your questions and so on, it looks like from our viewers' point of view that the GMOA has made a lot of noise and not delivered anything, and are now in the middle of nowhere, having not delivered to the people of our country, because obviously they want action. They don't want noise, they want action. But Dr. Padeniya, time's up for the primetime news. So thank you very much for being on Newsline Live. And that's the way it was. Have a great evening ahead. And it's now really time for the primetime news from News First. Take care. God bless you.